Beyond Light brought aspects and fragments to our Guardian toolkit, and we were able to change out specific perks and abilities. And in the Witch Queen, Bungie is starting the Light subclass rework with Void 3.0 aspects and fragments. With Void 3.0, class identity stays intact, but the system is giving the Void element an overall identity. Embracing the Void goes for all classes, but class expression is how they wield it. Void's all about getting health, draining life force, going invisible, creating shields, and each character has different ways in going about that, but each character leans heavy into one of those. Some core Void abilities like the grenades are now shared. Grenades like the Suppressor were exclusive to the Sentinel Titan, but not anymore. And this theme goes for all Void subclasses, crossing over in a way. In this guide, I'm going to cover all the new aspects that each character has, and down below in the article is a full list of the available fragments that all characters can share. So let's build these characters out with perks, mods, and exotics. A big part of Void 3.0 right now is volatile rounds. We can obtain these volatile rounds from the artifact, and it's unlocked in the last row. Picking up a Void Elemental Well grants your Void weapons volatile rounds. A key theme today is this interaction. It's a key part of how the Void subclass is playing. Void weapons with the volatile rounds are some of the best we've ever seen. Telesto, Graviton Lance, the new Funnel Web SMG. And the majority of my builds today are going to involve a Demolitionist Gnawing Hunger. You can do things like switch Hardlight to Void, Borealis to Void. And even though it's in the Artifact mod, there is a current fragment that's locked that's going to be unlocked after the raid, Echo of Instability. This fragment says that defeating targets with grenades grants volatile rounds to your Void weapons. When unlocked, this is probably going to be the first fragment that players unlock. The first recommended step, go to Ikora in the tower, pay Glimmer to unlock the grenades that you don't have. Once done, to the right of Ikora, you're going to meditate, and that unlocks the grenades for your character. And at the making of this guide, these are the only things that you can meditate. But this system is going to be used later on when those fragments are unlocked. And again, they're going to be unlocked after the Witch Queen raid that drops on March 5th. There's a ton of new changes for each character, and all of them have access to the same fragments. Let's start with the Sentinel Titan. Titan leans heavily into Overshield, so we're going to build on that. The Word of Dawn super is now faster to get, and it activates faster. The super time is now on par with the Well of Radiance Warlock, tied for the fastest supers in the game. But for this change, Weapons of Light is now 25% instead of 35%. The other super, Sentinel Shield with Banner Shield, it actually got a stealth buff. Banner Shield now lets your allies do 40% more weapon damage when they shoot through your shield when you're blocking. This was 35%. We're going to wait and see if this was an actual stealth buff, but if this was somehow a mistake, they might knock it back down. The barricades are the same, but we have a new melee ability, the Shield Throw. Hurl your Void Shield towards a target, it can ricochet, and will grant an Overshield on each hit. Each hit gives 1/3 of an Overshield. Second melee is Shield Bash, the Void Shoulder Charge. The Shield Bash suppresses a target. Final blows with a Shield Bash grant an Overshield. And again, with the grenades, you now have access to all of them. The Vortex is one of the best grenades in the game right now. It pulls targets in, continually damages them, and a lot of builds talked about today is going to involve the Vortex. For the Titan tank build, to me, it's one of the best builds in the game. There are interchangeable mods and exotics, and exotic-wise, you can go tank with healing or tank with pure damage and chaos. For the aspects, controlled demolition. Hitting a target with a Void ability or a volatile explosion makes them volatile. Further damage to a volatile target causes them to explode, grants you and nearby allies health when that volatile target explodes near you. This is paired with the other aspect, Bastion. Cast your super to grant Overshield to allies, but casting your Barricade grants Overshield to yourself and nearby allies and empowers it, enabling it to slowly regenerate the Overshield of allies bunkered behind it and extend the Overshield duration. Quick note here for PvP, this aspect alone, Bastion, with the Crest of Alpha Lupi, is currently a top pick. The Overshield that you get in PvP, it's 45 hit points, but Crest gives that healing pulse when you activate the Barricade. It's a top option, give it a try. These two aspects together allow you to choose 3 fragments. For this PvE tank build, the pairing fragments are going to be Remnants. Your lingering effects have increased duration. You want to be using Vortex. The longer that it's down, the more kills it's going to get, the more wells that can be made. Expulsion. Void ability Final Blows causes targets to explode. You also get +10 intellect. And this one gives -20 discipline, but Echo of Undermining. Your Void grenades weaken targets. This is centered around the heart of Inmost Light. Using one ability will empower the other 2 abilities. The empowered abilities mean you get a faster regen, the melee's grenades, they do more damage, the barricades have more hit points. The mod selection, Well of Tenacity, Void Armor, Void Mod. They recently buffed it to 50% damage reduction when you pick up a Void Well. Reaping Wellmaker, another Void Armor mod. After using your class ability, your next weapon Final Blow will spawn a Void Well. Elemental Ordnance, Volatile Flow. This is on the artifact. Picking up a Void Well grants your Void weapons volatile rounds. The last one could go a couple ways. A Stasis Armor piece for Elemental Time Dilation. This mod grants you time-limited benefits to stack, increasing the duration of the effects for each copy of the mod that you have equipped. So this is helping Well of Tenacity's 50% damage reduction go from 5 seconds to 8 seconds. Or you can go Explosive Wellmaker. Rapidly defeating combatants with explosive damage spawns solar elemental wells. Or you can throw on Fauna Might, which is 1 energy because of the artifact. This grants bonus damage to your Void Weapon. You do want a Void Weapon. I prefer one with Demolitionist, like my Gnawing Hunger, so I can get more grenade energy. That way you can just keep looping them. Altogether, it's chaos, because with Heart of Inmost Light, you're able to chain abilities over and over. Throwing grenades, getting wells that way, popping your Barricade, getting weapon final blows after that. Using your class ability gives you an overshield. For your melee, I do prefer shield throw because each tag gives about a third of your overshield, or you can just go shield bash, get the full overshield after you melee the enemy. But once you pick up that well, you have big damage reduction. Your void weapons putting in a lot of work with those rounds. Each time you're hitting those volatile targets and they're exploding, giving you health back. In between, throwing the shield to get some overshield on top. And picking up those wells, the Void ones gives you ability energy to all of your abilities. And if you decide to go solar, if you pick up that one, it's just going to give it to the lowest current energy that you have. You are a tank. The other way to set this up is going to be the same setup, but with Precious Scars. Final blows with weapons of the damage type matching your subclass create a burst of healing around you. And if you're reviving someone or they're reviving you, when the player is up, your team gets an aura that comes from you, gives overshield to you and nearby allies. So with this one, your Void weapon, in my case, this Gnawing Hunger, every other kill it's throwing health to me and my allies. I'm getting grenade energy. The volatile explosions is giving me health. This is more survivability. The abilities don't come as frequent, but your survivability stays up. They are really, really good. There's a third aspect, offensive bulwark, and we're going to fit this into a build. When you have an overshield or inside Ward of Dawn, your grenade charges significantly faster. You have increased melee range and damage, and melee final blows extend the duration of your overshield, and you gain an additional shield throw while in your Sentinel. So you're going to pair it with Bastion. That way when you pop your Barricade, you're going to get that overshield. But the fragments are going to be changed to Provision. Damaging targets with grenades grants melee energy. Exchange, melee final blows grant grenade energy. And with that one, it doesn't have to be charged. It's literally just meleeing anything. It could be a whole bunch of thrall. Every single final blow on them gives you some grenade energy. The last one is going to be persistence. Your void buffs, in our case overshield, has an increased duration. It adds an extra 5 seconds. You're pairing this with the shield throw, that way you can get an overshield that way. And as long as that overshield is up, especially paired with Heart of Inmost Light, those cooldowns are coming back even faster. It's another good one to try. The next character leans heavy into Devour, and because of that, the Voidwalker is super good right now. The basic build is switched around a little bit with Void 3.0. Abusing mods like volatile rounds is still going to be there. The 50% damage reduction from tenacity. A lot of these are the way to go right now with Void 3.0. The Voidwalker 3 supers are there. There's a new melee, Pocket Singularity. Launch an unstable ball of void energy pushes enemies away from that blast as it gets near them, making them volatile. The builds for the Voidwalker are going to involve Vortex the most, and there's one set up for Scatter. For the Voidwalker grenade build in 3.0, this has 3 exotics that you can pair. All of them work. As far as aspects, an old friend returns, Chaos Accelerant. Hold your grenade button to overcharge them, making them deadlier. Vortex lasts longer. The magnetic grenade is actually going to be a handheld supernova. The pairing aspect is Feed the Void. Another one coming back, Devour. Defeating a target with a Void ability activates Devour, and while Devour is active, final blows restore health and extend the Devour duration. Resets the timer. It also grants grenade energy as you get your kills. The fragment pairings are crazy. Expulsion, Void ability kills make targets explode. Remnants, the Vortex lasts longer, and this does stack with Chaos Accelerant. Then Persistence. So Devour has an increased duration, making the starting timer longer. I first want to start with Controverse Hold. They grant grenade energy on hit. It's one of my favorite exotics for Voidwalker. With it lasting longer, if the enemy density is there, the grenade will keep proccing the Controverse Hold perk and get the grenade back. And if you have on Ashes to Assets on your helmet, it's giving you more super energy on grenade kills. It can make some things happen. For this build on the helmet, Ashes to Assets and Bountiful Wells. So this is a solar armor piece. Bountiful Wells gets you more wells. Elemental Ordnance, because you're going to be getting grenade kills. Well of Tenacity for that 50% damage reduction. Explosive Well Maker. This is going to create solar wells, but it's worth it. Then of course, volatile rounds, they're so good right now. But add in another artifact mod, Devouring Depths. When you're critically wounded or have Devour active, your super will do more damage. I'm using the Cataclysm Nova Bomb. With Devour active, there's going to be a lot of collaterals. You're getting health back. There's going to be a ton of explosions. Wells are going to be made. As you get kills, that grenade's coming back. It's just as good as the Titan build, but in a very different way. Leaning into those nades and Devour, it has a lot of power. And you can keep this same setup, but take off Controverse Hold and add in the Nothing Manacles for 2 scatter grenades. Devour gets them back so quick. They're really good, it works great. The Vortex lasts longer in one spot, but with the Nothing Manacles, you can juggle 2 fast cooldowns. Now the third exotic is the Nezarec Sin. It's the same idea, but with Nezarec, void damage kills increase ability energy. It's all of them, even your super. The Devour setup is already fast, and the Nezarec Sin just keeps pushing it. There's a new aspect, Child of the Old Gods. Cast your Rift to create a Void Soul. When you hit an enemy, the Void Soul will seek them out. It's going to weaken them by doing a little bit of damage. It drains them, and as it's being drained by that damage, you get your grenaded melee energy back a little bit if you're running a healing rift, or you'll get health back if you're running an empowering rift. And defeating a target who is drained by your Void Soul, it's going to give you class ability energy. The new exotic for the Warlock, I don't have it unlocked yet. The Secant filaments would be great for this, because you cast your empowering rift, that automatically, just by doing that, gives you Devour. It also has built-in overload rounds for PvE. Since I don't have those, I've actually been using the Stag. The Stag's always been good. You have damage reduction inside of it. When you're in red health, you get class ability energy. But the loot for the Stag is that after you defeat an enemy that was damaged by your Void Soul, you get class ability energy. So there's two ways for the Stag to get the Rift back, being critically wounded and from this soul. I've been pairing Child of the Old Gods with Devour, and these two aspects together allow 4 fragments to be picked. I use the same 3, but I add in Echo of Undermining, where my Void Grenades weaken targets. It's a great loot for the Stag lock. Night Stalker is all about invisibility, and there's some exotics to bring out that strength. The tether as a whole triggers faster, and the new Mobius Quiver shoots 2 volleys of 3 arrows. It does great damage now. Like, the Orpheus Rig is a top option because it gives you a 3rd volley. And Mobius Quiver also makes the targets volatile. There's a new aspect, Stylus Executioner. Defeating a weakened, suppressed, or volatile target grants invisibility and true sight. And after performing a Stylus Execution, your next melee attack while invisible weakens enemies. A debuff, paired with Trapper's Ambush. Basically avoid Shadow Dive animation, but you're going to drop a smoke bomb at your feet. When you hit the ground, you leave that cloud of smoke. Enemies caught in it are going to be weakened, and you and your allies that are in that range are going to get invisibility. I recommend to keep Reaping Wellmaker, Elemental Ordnance, Volatile Flow, and Well of Tenacity, but add in Melee Wellmaker. It's on the artifact, it costs just 1 energy. You're going to be throwing a lot of smoke bombs. Fragments are going to be Provision, Expulsion, and Persistence, and that way your invisibility lasts longer. The crazy part is all those volatile round kills, every final blow you will become invisible. It's all about stealth and debuffs from there. And for straight stealth, the Graviton Forfeit is one of the best options. It gives longer invisibility times, and it does stack with the Persistence Fragment. But one of my favorites, and it even works in the Crucible, is the Bombardiers. The bomb from them void suppresses enemies. So with the full kit, you have smoke at your feet to become invisible, volatile round final blows, the Trapper's Ambush quick fall, and now you can damage an enemy with the bomb, suppress them, clean them up to go invisible. 4 ways. Well, then there's Rat King, so 5. There's still 4 fragments that are locked, and they're going to become available after the raid. Think about these exotics with how Void 3.0 is working, things that we've talked about. Echo of Instability. Defeating a target with grenade grants volatile rounds. This is going to be glued to players. Very strong fragment, and it also gives plus 10 strength. Echo of Harvest. Defeating weakened targets with precision final blows will create an Orb of Power. Negative 10 intellect. Echo of Obscurity. Finishers are going to grant you invisibility, plus 10 recovery. And then Echo of Starvation. Picking up an Orb of Power grants Devour. On your helmet mod, you can do the kinetic, or let's say Void Energy. You can get a couple headshot final blows, drop an Orb of Power, get that orb, and get Devour easily. It's going to be great. Void 3.0 is very, very strong. It's also a small look at what's to come. We still have Solar and Arc 3.0 at some point. Stasis changed the game when it came out. Now it's Void 3.0 doing the same thing, and it's only going to get better. My name is Cool Guy. Thank you for hanging out with me, and if you're interested in more content from me, you can find me on YouTube and Twitter at Cool Guy Games.